Hello, everybody. McAwesome Guy here again. Today we're actually doing something a little different, and I was able to get Mason to join me again. We're going to be starting this podcast series, and so he will probably be with me a few times, maybe bring in a couple other people. But thank you for joining me, Mason.
Oh, no problem. Love to be here.
Probably won't have as much fun with this one as we did with the account roast, but hopefully we get back to that too.
This one is going to be a lot more informational. What we're going to do is just have a conversation back and forth. A lot about what we think, our opinions on just a lot of beginner things, early game, what to do's, what not to do's, and hopefully you guys learn a lot from this and save yourself a lot of time and resources.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for new players is how they spend their time and kind of trying to focus. They have to narrow their focus,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can kind of help out with that and kind of move along their progression. I think. So for those just joining us, uh, we are going to be just kind of covering some of the basics today. Just things to try to focus on to improve play and kind of help progression. Um,
Things to help you with faster progression and not wasting things what you want to not waste and use wisely, I guess.
so I think one of the big things is when people get too narrow focused on, hey, I got a nat 5, I need to build this. And they stop focusing on, teams and synergy.
Right.
So,
Individual units.
yeah. So the idea is to make sure you want to kind of focus on, hey, how can I improve my runs and speed up my times and farm more? And then kind of progress to, hey, I have this good unit, let's try to build it now.
Yes. So a lot of PvE content, you're going to be relying on a lot of the nat threes, some nat twos that are going to be consistent, and then over time as you go, you're going to get better tags, which will make it faster, and then eventually you'll run into all the monsters you need for a faster team for all your legendary land farming and eventually PvP too.
Yeah, and what Setsu just mentioned is very true. Just because you clear Giants basement or Reggie, I guess 10, doesn't mean you need to go directly into doing Ray 10. You should actually be on Reggie 10 for
A
weeks
long
really
time,
before you even think
long
about
time.
going to Ray 10.
There's a big difference in minimum requirements for your
Yes,
team.
he said it in Summoner's War terms.
No, I misread it.
And even if you watch what I'm farming right now, I use 0 nat 5s in my Reggie team. That's just the idea is that you
You
don't need them.
use 0. I don't think I have any.
Yeah, I know that the grass Gyarados is
I
very
use the same
useful.
team as you. Use
Two
the same team.
mimes, two Squirtles, and a Hydreigon. Poor Formal.
Yeah, I use the same team. I do have a safer team that will never fail, but
Yeah. The only reason this team ever fails is when the Hydreigon just misses, I think,
this
3 times in a row. He has to
yeah,
miss 2 defense
that
breaks
hit
and
me
an attack
twice.
bar drop.
Yeah,
It does like to miss a lot, but that's a lot of misses on one run. Grab
it's
that so
like
it rolls.
95%.
Yeah. Well, the skill 3 I think only has like a 75% proc rate. I was looking at that.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to bring up too, is consistency. So
Yeah.
if you're farming,
No, it's not sets. It's
so let's say if you're
skill ups. I
farming
think it's
Reggie
just
10 and you fail like 3 out of 10 runs, that's not consistent enough, and you're wasting your energy.
yeah,
And then you're
and
wasting
time.
gems on refreshes and your time. It's a big waste. So I would drop back down to Reggie 9 and farm that. Use a faster team for that. I know it's a different element, which kind
Or
of
just
throws it
safer
off.
team in 10. Like if you just try if you're looking at your team speeding up and it's less consistent, then just go back to your safer one.
Yeah, use the safe team and not fail the run, and that'll actually be faster overall instead of just a slightly faster run. Your progression will just be a lot more consistent.
No,
You'll save
it's still got a
you'll
proc
save a
rate,
lot
so
of
it's
gems that way, and you'll save like in the long run you'll save a lot of time. Even though it feels like at the moment it takes so much longer, over time eventually it will actually be faster.
yeah. See, it's 75% chance, so that's just the proc. And no, it's not a straight at addition on the skill ups. It's a percent of the 75. Actually, I think the skill ups are just. Oh no, that's right. It's 2% up, and then a. No, I'm not sure what you mean by shield and heal.
I need to
No, I'm pretty
switch
sure
my
it's all procs and even damage. From what I saw.
farming and stream device
It
here.
might be. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's only a 75 or well, I guess it's closer to like 85, 90% chance to proc. Because there are times it doesn't proc at all. If you watch it, you'll see it not proc. It doesn't just get resisted.
There we go.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
Properly set up now.
All right. So yeah, this team isn't 100%, but it's high 90s as far as consistency, and with the speed at 30 seconds, that's definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I want to get some insight here for when you're doing starting out trying to do Reggie 10. A lot of things people think is they need the damage to actually beat it, or they need so much healing. It's not so much healing; it's the right debuffs and the right um, buffs that you have. So a lot of it is on Reggie. If you look at its actual skills and read them, it does a counter attack after every 7, and it does big damage on its skill. So what you want is attack break and glancing, which you get a lot from your grass rapidash and your water or grass
Wormadam.
wormadam. And those are 3-star monsters, so those are super easy to obtain, and those are your your base things that you want to start with. Those are the debuffs you want to apply to the boss. And then for your own team, they're also going to give speed boost and attack buff and defense buff.
Yeah.
So that's like almost your core right there, just for Reggie.
Yeah, another big thing is also making sure that you're speed tuned correctly. You don't want to see your damage dealer go before you have your attack buff, and you kind of try to want to make sure that your cleanse is going after you get the defense break, or at least goes a second time before Reggie attacks. Because you don't want to see you get defense broken and then hit by Reggie right away, because that can end your runs.
Yep. And that's where you lose the runs. A lot of things is there's actually a quest. If you go to the main menu and hit the quest tab, there's the legendary Mewtwo quest. That's probably the first thing that you want to look to do. So if you don't have it yet and you're struggling with doing Reggie or anything really, even scenarios like the campaign, Ghost Mewtwo is like first thing that you really want to look for to progress.
Well, it's actually, I think, the last quest that unlocks, at least in Summoner's War. It's the second to last quest that unlocks. Progressing through these quests is always good. It basically gives you an idea of kind of where to look to start. Plus, it
Right, you
gives you
get
free stuff too. So I would try to go through each quest as much as you can. I know, like, say, the fast leveling, probably clearing the last 2 right away are going to be difficult, but
yeah.
at least get some of the progression done and help you kind of move through, get more set up later on.
Yeah, one thing is, I know earlier, crystals for evolving Pokemon is like a huge pain, but guys, farm it. Don't spend your coins on upgrading smalls into mids and mids into larges, because it's super expensive here, and it's a big waste of coins. You could be leveling your tags.
That's another thing. On the tags, if it's not at least a 5-star, probably with some decent percents, it's not worth taking past 12. It's not even really worth taking 212 usually. Any 4-stars really just stop at 9. You're gonna replace them. You don't want to waste your mana on those and time leveling them. Take them to 9. They'll give you enough stats.
Mana.
Mana, coins. Sorry, the transition's still hard. I still play both way too much.
His words, not mine.
Yes, the coins. So when you're maxing these 4-star tags, it's really not worth it.
Right. And you don't want to be maxing wrong tags too. Like they might be a 6-star, so you'll get like big boosts on
He does.
Oh, I think we lost your sound there.
Oh, did you?
Oh, no, you're back.
Okay, so I can hear it kind of laggy for me too.
Yeah, it
Maybe
cut out
Yes.
after you were about halfway through there.
What was I saying then?
Not
basically
wasting
saying,
coins.
Hey, you don't wanna max out, even if it's a 6-star tag. Like maxing it out still might not be efficient because like the substats. You want to like max the tags that you're gonna keep for a while and not get rid of later and never use again. So like if they have like 2 or 3 flat substats on it, it's not worth plus 15. Just do plus 12, and then you'll still get the same value out of it. I guess as a 5-star.
Yeah.
Plus 12, 6-star.
Yeah, and that's another thing with the new reforges and stuff like that, and the orbs and shards. You don't want to use those on just any tag. Like if you have a green tag that you're just using, don't use shards or reforges on it. That's just a waste. That's not a tag you're going to keep. It just doesn't have enough stats.
Yeah. Like in the game, like the rerolls on the tags are like really rare. Like they have a lot of value. So especially if you get like the sparkling ones for like any tag, those will be like almost only ever used on B tags that are like 6-star legendary. Any reroll should only be 6-star legendary. Again.
Yeah. And that's something else. I know that sometimes you get some 6-star legendary tags that really don't have good looking rolls in them. Those are alright to keep as long as they're not like flat stats on the 2, 4, and 6, other than speed, of course. Those are alright to keep. You can re-roll those later on, and it may turn into something great. So you may not want to throw away some that say have 3 flats. And you're like, oh, this I'm never going to use this, because you may be able to re-roll it later and have a great tag that you wouldn't have had.
Yeah, that's why they're rare, because you could just change something completely like that.
Yeah. And
that's how
really,
you get the great tags.
And really, 6-star legendary tags are pretty rare too. You can run for entire days without getting any to drop. So that's what I'm saying. You don't want to just throw them away.
Definitely not ever.
There you go. And Sets has been playing longer than anybody left in the game now. So that's how rare they are.
Yeah, 0 slot 6 beat HP.
Although that was kind of a narrow example there.
I mean, how, like, I know it's rare, but like, have 0 slot 6 beat HP percents?
They're legendary. I mean, that's.
I mean, like, I probably don't have one either. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I may have 1 or 2, but it may not.
Don't think I have any, to be honest.
I think slot 6 actually has the lowest drop rate in general, though, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. If they're using the Summoner's War kind of setup, I know Summoner's War slot 6 are actually the rarest drops.
Slot 2 speeds are probably the next rarest. I don't get any of those, man.
I get so many of those.
Ever.
Those aren't very rare for me.
Not even blues. Any like 4 and 6 HP percents I feel are so low. Like I have so many attack percent.
I get a lot of defense percents too.
Yeah.
So with Reggie, one of the big things is it actually gives you enough mons to build a starter team on pretty easily that will take you through just about every floor up to 10 and start farming. So those are ones
Yeah.
that you want to try to focus right away. Um, like the Rapidash, the Wormadin, the Mewtwo, the Psy, Growlithe, Arcanine, and then kind of for that last spot, you can kind of float depending on your tags. Usually, first off, I always recommend the Gumshoe, the Psy Gumshoe. It's farmable and
Yeah.
it lowers your tag requirements to be able to run it. But I know that trading for the Water Gyarados is a good move to kind of be able to speed up. And even Water Pikachu, if you get 6-star with some decent tags, can run this as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of attack bar reduction,
Yeah.
which slows down the boss. It won't attack until its attack bar is full. I think that's one thing that newer players don't really understand is the speed actually is just your attack bar. The faster it is, the more it goes up. So attack bar reduction basically slows everything down. So if you keep reducing the attack bar of the boss, it's never going to move.
Yep. So if it's not using its second skill, that's a huge win. Counters, I mean, they do some damage, but that second skill is usually what ends up wiping most
Wipes
teams.
their whole team.
Yeah.
Yep. But definitely Reggie is the first thing you should be farming before you actually move on, because Ray has more VP outlook for tags. The rare ones like beats are good for PvE, but you don't need them. But it's definitely PvP is like huge.
Yeah, counters.
I guess lock is good for PvE too. A lot of like tree
Yeah.
things use it, like have it on my tree teams. That's another thing is battle tree. It's you get a lot of stuff from it, and some teams can be really easy to get. Like you can get Fire Cyndaquil from trades. He's your like champion. He's your leader, speed lead. Got put him on stuns. He's got everything you really need. Got the attack bar reset, the dots, AOE.
Yeah, he's actually the first trade I always recommend is Fire Cyndaquil, and then moving into Mewtwo, just because getting that speed leader kind of helps overall early on. But
Yeah.
yes, save Grass Grumpig. That's another thing is that you probably want to check comments or check in chat to see on these 2s and 3-stars because not all of them should just be thrown away. So there are definitely ones that you want to keep. You don't have to build them right away. A lot of them, it's probably not recommended to be built right away, but they're still good to keep. So when you need to build them, you don't have to try to look for them.
Yeah.
Be careful with that, though.
So Jay, I actually would say it depends on the subs. I like speed, but if you have enough speed subs, attack I think does better. It also turn order as well.
Wyvern.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about on Fae. So the Ghost Pancham. Yeah, Rush Keen is what I go, or Rush Will, if you have the wills for it.
Yeah, it needs to be pretty fast.
Yeah, you want it fast. But speed tuning is still important. Usually you want some sort of attack up to kind of pair with, like Bastet. It's great for it. Sorry. Water. What's it? Meloetta. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's got attack buff and boost.
Fire Noivern's actually always been pretty helpful for Tree. The turn cycling that it brings has always been good. I used it actually on one of my first accounts for the longest time.
Yeah, it's good everywhere. VP, TA, PvE.
Oh, so you're saying that you can trade for it now? Yes, that's true. Back then, I couldn't trade. It was the only account I managed to summon one on in Summoner's War. You don't even want to know how many how many of those stones I used trying to get one on my main
That
account.
was a dark time.
It was a dark time. It was at least 30,000.
Oh my.
Yeah.
One
I-
of those?
Yeah, I think I ended up going up to like about 35,000 before I got one.
Well,
And
they made
then
it
a
free.
month later, they made him a free event where they just gave him away. I about quit the game again at that point.
That's
I,
tough.
I raged pretty hard, having to wait each. Yeah, thanks, Sets.
Felt formal about water hydra.
Yeah, but they've
Oh,
never given him away. All right. Although he's like never in rotation here. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, he's in rotation a lot in some ones.
Yeah, Galleon is.
I'm actually surprised they haven't.
He hasn't been in months here.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You think he'd be a popular one because he's very useful in a lot of areas. So he's probably one of the most well-rounded Pokemon.
Oh, they give you
Even
that.
Guild Wars, 24 speed lead in Guild Wars.
Guild Wars, almost all PvE content, and Arena. I mean, there's
Yep.
almost nowhere where he's at least not useful, except BR. BR, he's terrible here.
BR is terrible everywhere. Way.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about BR. So one of the points is I know that we're talking a lot about PvE content, not kind of talking about PvP. Starting off an earlier game, the focus shouldn't really be, try to get as high as you can. It really should be try to farm as many points as you can. So you don't need a strong defense. You just want to try to find a decent enough offense to get you wins against other easy defenses. You want to try to farm your towers.
But you also get points when you lose too.
So that's a big point, is that you don't want to rush in saying, hey, I have to try to be top 100 because there's a Pokemon to get. So yeah, for PvP, I know we're talking about
Simple
high-end
stim.
stuff here,
Simple stim.
but
Simple.
definitely don't focus it right away. It's not something you really need to worry about other than making sure you're using your tickets and trying to farm points when you can.
Quick Will 195. Jeez.
Actually, this brings up another big point, is this game is definitely a lot less about the Pokemon and much more about the tags. So you don't want to waste your gems and everything on trying to get as many Pokemon summons as you can. It's much better to use them on farming.
Oh, Shinehorn. Hey, Shine.
Hey, Shine.
Welcome. I didn't know your Twitch name. See you in game every day. Oh, you're there.
So,
Yeah,
so
a big
tags
waste.
and farming should be definitely the priority.
So how do you feel about early game spending the 750 gems on the Great Ball pack? Think
I
it's
have
okay, or do you think
really
like,
mixed feelings. I think it's all right.
think it's
Early
okay.
game,
Early game.
because you're not getting as much value out of your refreshes on the energy, and because you level up so quickly that it refreshes your energy anyways.
You get a ton of energy given
Yes.
through like that beginner event. I think they still have it. But like, you remember that when you like
No,
start the account?
because they never had it for any of the accounts I made except for I think maybe the very last one.
Really? So like I started when they had that.
Well,
I started pretty late, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like there's 6 different tabs, and it's like, energy, coins used,
that's a
like
ghost.
just like random stuff, and they're easy tasks, and it's not daily; it's accumulate. So like it just builds up. And you get like a ton of stuff from
Oh,
it.
really?
Like, it was like a ton of great balls. I think you get like ultra balls at the end on some of them. Psy Ghost Ball in there or something. Like
I know
it gave you a lot.
Seth was telling me they gave a bunch of bonuses now too, just from starting out. Like you get a bonus
probably.
coins and experience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because when he made his ult that he abandoned, kicked to the curb.
Got a better one.
I don't know what happened though. I don't know if that was when he took over Luffy and decided to leave it be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so then you even get a nat 5 off the start too.
No.
So
You get there.
so early
Me or
on,
side.
I think it's okay to kind of get a little bit more of the Pokemon probably for the trades and stuff. I just don't recommend it kind of past maybe 35, 40 level.
Yeah, I mean, depends on how far in you are there, but so that is probably the reason why I think it's okay. Because yeah, you don't get the amount that you get for the refresh for the 30 gems than a lot of higher levels
Yeah.
can. You don't get as much coin. You don't have as much energy. You actually get more energy when you level up. So you won't have as much energy from the refresh. So it's less value to spend it on the refresh until you're a higher level.
Yeah.
So I guess the gems can be well spent on the Great Ball pack. The 751 only though.
Yeah.
Don't do the
Yeah, don't do the
200.
225. Um, I was gonna say something else. You made me think of something, but
One thing I will say, when you're a beginner player, um, don't always trust the chat.
or all the comments.
There is, if you go into the bag and you check the actual little book icon, you hit that, and there's comments. And actually, Nick Awesome Guy has a lot of comments on almost all of the Pokemon there that are good informational comments that you can follow of how to tag it and how to use it, kind of. But a lot of the times in chat, some people don't know themselves and they try and answer it, so it might not always be right. So you could double check whatever some people say. So don't always trust chat. Check the comments.
I have one on
Um,
Cammy. See, right there.
comment.
So the beginning of all mine will always be the Summoner's War name. The reason I do that is because you can go look that up and like say Google, and also kind of get more information. I get limited space to put on these, so I usually just try to give some of the recommendations and little pointers. If you want much more info on it, it's easy to Google that. Somebody told me to do Cami, didn't they? Yeah, sets. Yeah, so that's another thing. Suggested is where you'll probably find a lot of my comments. A lot of them have been in there for a while. I have been slacking out a lot of the newer ones, and the other thing I don't put comments on ones I haven't built, just because if you go to the comments, you can actually click on my Pokemon, and I want you to be able to see my build and why I have the stats and what I said kind of matches.
Yeah.
So if I haven't built it, I won't have a comment on it yet. So sorry about that. But I will try to get it updated since I have quite a few I have to still put in there.
Yeah. So if you have one that doesn't have good comments on it or something, if you ask in chat what the Summoner's War name is,
I don't have one
usually
for
someone
him yet.
will answer it, and then you could actually just look it up. And the
Yeah,
Summoner's War information that you can look up has way more detail than anybody even really knows about in this game. They
Yeah.
have like the damage scaling and stuff for like crit rates and everything.
And even the multipliers on like attack or HP on each of the skills. So
you actually get more info like that.
yeah, you definitely do. And yeah, believe it or not, there are quite a few players in Summoners War that know a lot more about this stuff than I do. So I am one of the lesser experienced there, I guess. Not a top player.
I'm somewhat newer since I have never really played Summoner's War.
Yeah. So that's
I
why
have
I'm able to do this
research.
though.
I've done research.
I've played it for what, almost over 5 years now. I
5 years.
think. Yeah. So that's why I kind of tried to help out and put those in, just because you figure there aren't that many experienced Summoners War players that are still here at this point.
Not many. They're gone. Bigger, better things.
Probably back to Summoners War.
Probably. So yeah, anything else? That's pretty big early game mistakes. make.
Yeah. One thing is starting off. I know we talked a little bit about setting and farming points in PvP. Get one of each of the towers or flags or whatever you want to call them. Starting off, so that way you're at least getting a bonus from them. Don't try to straight
Yeah.
away focus one. Make sure you get one of each. And the two you really want to focus off the bat are, I would recommend either doing the max energy or energy refresh rate, and then the speed. The just
Speed
flat
tower.
the speed tower.
Sure.
So those should be the
Biggest.
two biggest focuses. Spreading them all out, like trying to get them all to 2, then all to 3. That's kind of a waste of your points, and you won't see actually nearly as good of results.
Right. I think the speed tower is so good too because it's percent based, and usually speed, like in substats, is not percent based. It's just
Flat.
single flat ones and 2, 3, 4.
I guess another note is the all the towers are off your base stats, so they're not going to add in what you add in the tags, and they don't reflect in your stats. So you won't actually see the bonus of your, say, speed tower on your speed. So if you level it up and don't notice a change, that's why. But also remember that you're not going to see it on somebody else's either. So if you're trying to say, hey, am I faster than this person? You won't really know because you don't know what their speed tower is.
Right.
Yes,
Um.
the ditto. Always buy a ditto. You don't have to use it right away. Never use them on Nat 4s, but always get a ditto every week. That's one of the biggest things. Save them
From arena.
from arena. Yes. I actually recommend the same thing if in guilds. Always get the Togepi. It's less important at this point, I think, because it's I don't know. It just seems very easy to level stuff up here. But at least in Summoner's War, I know that was one of the mottos I had was always make sure I got the 4-star Togepi from the Guild Wars.
Yeah, materials are very limited, especially like 4-star maxes.
Yeah, they seem to get so many of them here that I'm not sure that one's just worth it.
Yeah, I know you still want to get the Mewtwo pieces for the game.
Yes. So that was the other thing. I wouldn't really use arena points or even guild points, especially early on any balls. It's really not worth it, unless maybe it's what's going to make or break finishing an event for you. But it's just kind of a waste of the points.
I still don't.
I actually went through almost all of them on the summoning event sets, so I just have a bunch of tickets left now.
How many 3-star Togepis are in mail?
I had a bunch.
You don't want to know how many's in my storage, but I got none in mail.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, I haven't done a bunch of Mystery Dungeon. I really hate it, but I started knocking it out now that I got my second Ghost Tentacle. And yep, there we go. There's another 3-star Togepi for you. But anything else we want to talk about? Did we talk about not worrying about Darkrai? I know we kind of mentioned make sure you focus Reggie. So yeah, I don't know if you want to go ahead and start on that, but yeah, that's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, so you're gonna come across, say if you get a Nat 5 Pokemon or something, and someone tells you the right build is on Absorb. Don't start farming Darkrai to try and get Absorb tags. It's not worth it. Keep your progression on pace. Doing Reggie will give you the tags to progress into Ray. The Ray will give you tags to progress into Darkrai. That's the last thing you should be worrying about, because all of those are like late game PvP tag builds that you don't need, not for a long time. So definitely avoid Darkrai early game.
And yeah, that's very good point, Sets, is that you can use tags from Reggie on just about anything. Anything can use the tags from Reggie and still be good.
Damage dealers on Fatal or Quick.
Supports on
Pokemon
Quick
scale
or
quick.
Stun. Energy. Thanks for joining us, Shine. Have a good night, and hopefully we can get more of these in later on.
Shine. 4 a.m. for me as well. Exact same monthly event. Oh, we got the. Oh, it's reset.
Yeah,
That's a
it
new
just
event.
reset. Nice. I'm alright with that. This one wasn't hard to finish. And with
How
all
many
the
ditto? How many ditto do I get
3, I think, right?
for breaking, evolving?
I think it's evolve 1 for the first evolve on a Nat 5, and then 2 for the third evolve.
Ah,
So it's not bad.
What?
Dittos for the monthly.
actually, that is one thing
You should
for
see.
newer players. Definitely events. I know you can't complete them all,
New
but
event.
try and get the rewards that you can because
Aw, it's too
they're
cute.
almost free. Just things that you can just do, especially these monthly events.
Parts of them are free most of the time. But yes, the monthly events are ones that you definitely want to try to do. The Nat 5 portion of it might be difficult, especially for newer players.
It's only one job.
The trades are definitely good for that, though, to help try to complete those.
It's only that.
Why is the Battle in Pokemon League tab behind this bar? All
Sorry,
the other
it's
ones
1
aren't.
a.m. I can't see.
What's that?
In the event thing, the Battle in Pokemon League is behind the bar.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked.
Is it weird?
You want to look?
Mess that up.
It looks fine on
20 and
Silence
fine.
phone. Let me take a look here.
It's just mine.
Let's take
It's
a look.
like behind the bar.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's weird.
I don't know. It looks kind of normal to me. It looks like they just kind of pop up a little bit when you click on them.
Oh, mine's like behind it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
On League. Oh, yours are all behind it. Oh, mine are in front.
So maybe maybe it's your other ones that are messed
It's
up.
broken.
Imagine that, something broken here.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do another one of these in the future. Probably talk
Oh,
about,
different.
yeah, just maybe talk a little bit more about higher end PvP. We'll probably do one for RTA or 1v1 arena,
Yeah.
just different stuff. But we thought we'd just
There
try to start off
is.
the basics.
So if there is any questions that you do have, you could probably find us in game at some point. But also just leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll probably try and get back to you.
Yeah, I try to respond to all the comments I get, which isn't many. I think I've gotten 2.
But
So
if you have any questions, leave them below. And what was I going to say? Going to say, yeah.
Nope.
That's not good.
5 stars.
all right. Well, thank you again for joining me, Mason. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And like I said, if you guys do have questions, we can definitely try to add that to the next one. We'd like to try to keep it kind of progressing on how you should be progressing in the game. So usually, after Reggie, it would be Ray, and starting to look at Tree and PvP a little bit more. So that's probably what our next one will be a little bit about.
Yeah.
But and always check back in. I'm usually doing a lot of different contents, especially some RTA tournaments. And congrats, Mason, on winning the last one. Spoiler sets if you didn't look yet. But all right, guys. Well, I want to thank you and have a good night, good day, depending on your time zone. And until next time.
Until next time.